Just let me ask you, before we go on and take a look at Arsenal and see what's going to happen there, Liam. Italy had, and they were very conscious of the need to develop their own players. And when you played at Juventus, I think, and when others like John Charles, Jimmy Greaves, Dennis Law, there was a rule where you could only have one player, and you were the one at Juventus. Is that right?
That's right. At the very outset, this was all to do with. We're talking about Brexit a lot at the moment. This was all to do with movement of workers.
Yes, I know it was. It was a European Commission law.
Yeah, so they couldn't stop. In the end, they couldn't stop Europeans from moving into Italy to play football in their league.
Yeah, I know.
Initially, they tried to keep it restricted to one in my first 2 years. Then it went to two, and when I left in '87, I think they opened it up to 3 or 4.
Now,
so they couldn't really stop it. But at that time, you're dead right. When you're going back a long time before me, when you're talking about John Charles and Dennis Law and Jimmy Greaves. But in my time, they opened up the borders again to allow foreign players in, and it was only one per team.
But the question I want to ask you is, did it work? In other words, do you think, because it's important to ask the question, I feel, because of the nature of the Premier League now, where there are so many, I think at least 50% of the players are from outside the UK. So did it work for Italy, Liam, do you think?
Well, they won the World Cup in '82, so they possibly say it did work, and they got to the final in '94 in America. But I think the pool of players has dropped dramatically, and we're always talking when we get together about who can buy who and what players are available, and I think there's very few players out there that are available. So the pool has dropped, and in Italy now. There may be a case that the foreign players haven't helped, because I can't think of any great Italian forwards or playmakers in coming along that I can see. Certainly, an Italian striker like a Paolo Rossi or Roberto Baggio. There's nobody coming along like those players.
No.
And Pirlo, he's disappeared from the scene only a couple of years ago, but I don't see anybody taking his place either. We watched Italy, so maybe it has an effect. But I think we're going into different arguments here, Eamon. But I think it's the pool of players that has shrunk dramatically.
Yes.
In all the kind of affluent European countries.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's modernity, and it's not going to change.
No,
it's a street game. And if it's not a street game, it's not going to be anything.
No, it's part of Italy. Are part of the whole scene as you described there. I mean, before they had the one player coming in, Italy had some great players, as we know. But you'll find, without getting too serious about it, as society improves, the conditions improve. Sport always pays a price.
Yeah, well, the sport of soccer. Now
and boxing, I mean, and all the various
all the things that we used to do before we had computers, television, and sex.